Welcome back to the Menai Strait. This time we prepare for a circumnavigation of Anglesey. But it doesn't go to plan. And we experience a very different Anglesey to last time. But with our friends, Seal the Wanderer and Helen the Wayfarer, we battle our way through. On this trip, we experience bigger waves, bigger problems, worse weather, and we're forced to sail through our first overfalls. So come with Lulu and me as we face our biggest sea challenge yet. As we try to sail around Anglesey with our friends. We start our journey once again at Port Dinowic after a very, very rainy night. If there's one thing you could have guaranteed for this trip, it would have been rain. It's rained in the UK, up north anyway, literally non-stop for, I've lost count of the weeks. It's been horrendous. Europe seems to have all this heat, we seem to have rain. Anyway, I've been watching the weather like a hawk, and we are going. The boats are up there. You can just see Lulu's mast and ensign there. And it's actually the same trio that went to the last trip to Abermenai. A few people dropped out, and yeah, the remaining three are going. The conditions have just brightened up. This is the weather we've had, and it was pouring with rain all night. This is the weather I think we're getting roughly from around here, but we've definitely got a respite. I mean, there is a bit of rain over there, isn't it? We're heading down south down the Menai Strait, which is this way, and we're just waiting for about an hour and a half before low water here, because then the ebb should take us out. We should cross the Abermenai Channel at a great time, at hopefully slackish water. And then the flood should then take us all the way up the west coast of Anglesey, if we need to. The weather, you know, it does get tasty further into the trip. The hope is, and we have spoke to the Coast Guard and the RNLI, and the hope is that once we reach the north of the island, we should be sheltered from the worst of that. So we shall see, won't we? We shall see. Our journey takes us from Port Dinowic down the Menai Strait and out into the Irish Sea once again. From there, we hold a course all the way to South Stack, where we're hoping to round Holyhead and spend the night in the Holyhead Bay. This time, we need to keep our eye on the weather, making sure we know where to stop if we need to. We also need to keep our eye out for the dreaded overfalls. These litter the coast from rhosneigr all the way around South Stack and
Holyhead Island. We need to keep our wits about us.
Launcher, look how low the tide is. We are running late. We're faffed about, to be honest with you. So I've actually had to come to the Dinghy Club here, who have been really kind and gave us the code yesterday to use their ramp. Let me get off here. So it's a good job we went and had a chat with them last night, because I wouldn't have got in right now. So moral of the story, what I've learnt from that is, you know, I was standing around waiting for everyone else, waiting for them to seeing if they needed any help. So I ended up looking at the charts, whatever. I should have got the boat in, but it was so congested there that, yeah, you know, you just learn, you live and learn. I hope now we're not going to rush things and we've missed our schedule, but, you know, it's looking like nice skies over there, at least anyway.
We launched and made our way into the strait. Norman had already gone. Mark was just about to launch.
But we're off. It's a good breeze. There's Seal, and Helen is behind us, and we're off. Hello, little bird.
We made haste, all motoring down the strait. We needed to reach the Abermenai channel before the tide turned. We were on our way though, with faces starting to smile.
We were literally sailing over that sandbank there. But today we're at pretty much low. Well, the tide has probably turned about half an hour ago, so we are going to need to stick to the channel. Menai, quite a big sailing school that. You can do all kinds of stuff there, from your RIA to your full day skipper, you know, day captain, or the one that comes after day skipper. You can do it all here, from here. You can launch from here as well. Quite a large boat there.
Soon reached Carnarvon, which meant we were only 2 nautical miles from the channel.
Here it isn't changed, this is called South Cardinal.
The tide had already turned, but we were making good headway. Suddenly, Norman just stopped.
They're doing something. He was pointing over here a minute ago. and I don't know what he meant. He obviously meant that. So maybe we're just going to we'll come round and or come about, should I say, and we will see what's going on. Ah, he's filling up with fuel. Oh, that's interesting. The good thing about this is we're letting Mark catch up now, which is pretty cool. But look at that marker. As you can see, it's tilted. It tilts the way the tide is going, and then you can see like a little wash at the back of it. But it's not a huge tide at the moment. Ooh.
A flotilla once again. We headed straight for the channel.
Here we are. This is buoy 8, C8, and we've just had to stop for Mark. Actually, he's got a bit behind. He ran out of fuel. So these little outboard engines that these guys have got seem to run out of fuel quite quickly. I've just checked Lulu's 12-litre fuel tank, and it's hardly been touched. So I think this is a really fuel efficient engine because you only have to run it at like 1/8 of its power most of the time. There's the Abermenai channel. I am a little bit scared because I can see white horses over on the horizon. So it is what it is. And I can feel some breeze as well now. As we sort of come through the channel, you know, we should hit the southwesterly, which we've been largely sort of sheltered from here.
We give the motor a little bit more and we pass through the Abermenai channel. I wouldn't say we slid through with ease, but we did get through without incident.
So it's bye-bye Menai Straits, and we are cutting across here now. There's certainly a lot more spray out here, and the waves, there they are. If it stays like that, I'll be very happy. Yeah, we've changed course and we're largely staying in the channel. I mean, look at those white horses all over here. I mean, you can almost see the sandbank here. So I'm glad Norman has changed tack and headed up the channel a little bit more. We're going to round this and then you'll see that little outcrop of rocks that lead out. We're going to aim to go past the cardinal mark up there, and that'll be the next major landmark for us. Look at those waves. Time to get the sails up, I think. Oh, we're sailing. There we go. Well, it was a kerfuffle, but it's the first time I've ever unreefed my sail and got it all sorted and got it up there. And I've got the knot, the halyard knot, a little bit round the wrong way. You can see it's made the halyard, the gaff a little bit wonky, but it's okay. It's fine. It's as good as normal anyway. And we are now sailing, but we are losing the wind. We are really almost running here. If you look at the wind's changed. It was not supposed to be coming from that direction. So what we're going to do, we're going to jibe out there, because you can see the cardinal mark out there. We need to get around that. So we're doing 2.5 knots now, and you can see Mark's actually on that tack now as himself. So yeah, here we go. We've got a little bit of breeze now. It just goes to show, doesn't it? You look at the weather all week and it turns out that there's hardly any wind. What wind there is seems to be coming from the northeast almost. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we seem to be actually beating, not reaching. Oh, that's a big wave. Whee. Oh. So I don't understand this at all. I'm trying to get around the cardinal there, but I'm not able to do it without tacking and almost going back on ourselves. Ooh, I don't like the way that's pulling on there, on the bit that's not right. And we're not doing any speed. We're doing like 0.7 knots, and we're basically going back to where we came from. For a lugger in these sorts of winds, I think it's time for the motor, unfortunately.
With the wind almost in front of us now, we needed better progress.
We are making good progress actually on the sail and motor, but there's not much wind, to be honest with you.
We also had some pretty big rollers starting to come in on our bow.
Found a bottle in the sea. I don't think there's anything in it, no secret note or that, so I'm just going to pop it back. Just the bottle. Tried to use the autopilot, but she's having none of it. Just got really reckless. We've got a lot of water in the boat, but it might be that it's all back here. I'm going to keep my eye on it. We've just been motor sailing for the last hour, and we're kind of near Abermenai now, so you can hear the racetrack. So, yep, we've got Helen there, which is nice. We've got a bit of company. But I'm having to keep the motor on to keep up with her. And there's Seal, the Wanderer, who's not really making any more ground. If anything, she's coming back a little bit. You can actually hear the racetrack over there. Wow, that's loud. And here's the Cardinal here. So we're going to go around here now, and we should start to find a little bit of wind. So let's try and do that. Now we should be reaching. It's really hard to know. Yeah, even Mark's put his engine on in the Wayfarer behind us, so we'll let him catch us up and see what's what.
Time for some lunch. I kept the motor off and sailed and waited for Mark to catch up. I also had one eye on the water that was starting to form in the bilge. I was slightly worried.
Woo. So I've fortunately the tiller pilot's working now. I remember putting the sensitivity of it up a little bit, and as soon as I adjusted that, it seems to be working quite well now. I think we've got a leak. I still think we've got a leak in this boat. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned because if I'm right, the water is coming in at a decent rate. So, and it's increasing. So I'm going to set my watch for a time, and we're going to see how much water we get in the boat in that time. So hopefully it's a false alarm.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a false alarm. There was an alarming amount of water entering the boat. I had to start bailing, and quick.
Just did a little bit of bailing, it's kept it at bay, but you can see still water down there. You know, as long as it doesn't sort of go and, you know, the boat suddenly sinks, you know, we should be okay. Anyway, we're getting there. Ahead is South Stack. You can see Mark's sail there, and I think that's Norman round the corner there. I'm hoping he's gonna wait for us. Otherwise, I'm going through South Stack all on my own. And I'm trying to frantically catch Mark up. And we are catching him. We're doing 6.2 knots at the moment. We've got a fair tide now as well. And, you know, just so we're not going past this pretty much treacherous piece of water alone for the first time. The sea state is definitely building as well. Look at this.
With the leak under control for now, we sailed on and tried to catch the other two before we rounded South Stack.
Wow, Mark's going up and down there. Crikey. Come on, Lulu, hold together. Hold together. Engine's up. I've had a failure with the engine as well. So the little knob that screws in there, that stops the engine moving round, has failed. So that's all the way in, that screw, and for some reason it's not holding the engine, but fortunately she stays pretty straight and true while she's motoring, not ticking over, but while she's motoring. It's been 20 minutes. I mean, let me just sit here. Is there more water in there than before? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I think there is a bit more water in there than there should be, but yeah, we'll see. We'll keep our eye on it. I was about to sort of show you Aberfraw where we were last time, but we're way past it. So that headland just there is Aberfraw Beach, where we landed and spent the night last time we were sailing here. So yeah, we're making progress then, aren't we? We've come as far as we've ever come, that's one thing for sure. And we are now sailing, which is good. Albeit, I fear there's a little bit of a tide helping us now. You can see Mark is catching us up, but he's not. Do you know what? He's not making fun of us, is he? Mark's fishing. That's what he's doing. I wondered what he was up to.
We sail on and let Mark catch us.
Caught anything yet? No. You can see how fast that wayfarer is.
About an hour had passed and it was time to check the leak again.
Oh, there's a little breeze.
With possible overfalls off the coast of rhosneigr, I needed to check that Lulu was okay.
But look at that. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all, is it? So Lulu's sinking. Oh God, I don't know. I don't think the leak's bad enough at this point for us to have to do anything drastic. I think we can make it to Holyhead. Hopefully the wind all being well. And we'll make a decision now on what we do. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. Okay, these are what you call overfalls.
But it was too late.
Whoa.
The overfalls were upon us.
But there's no way through here. I don't really want to go there because we're going to get too close to that headland. So I'm going to follow Mark. And actually I'm going to take a slightly outer route. Yeah, and get rid of that. This bit on the right here looks a little bit worse than everywhere else. Oh wow, I don't like the look of this at all. Oh wow. Yeah, this is horrible.
Unable to sail around them, we had no option but to sail through them.
The good news is I think they're like little patches. Whoa!
It was like sailing through a mountain range, and it was quite scary.
Yeah, and we can see the path through is over here. Yeah, this is not nice. That was my first ever overfall sailing. Woo! In a boat that's sinking. Right, I want to catch Mark up. Wow. You can actually see the sea is a different colour here. And then in about 30 metres, I'd say, I'm hoping it flattens out a little bit. Look at this. Whoa! Woo! Whoa! Wow! That was crazy. Right. Touch wood. I'm hoping that's the worst of it for now.
We'd made it through. Yet again, Lulu had taken it all in her stride.
But look at these here, look. Right, I think we're just coming out of it now. Sun has just come out.
Our next challenge was finding Norman.
We had completely lost contact with Norman. He's our local guide. We can't see him. We couldn't radio contact him. And then suddenly, I think Mark has got in touch with him. So he hasn't rounded South Stack. He's in this bay just before. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna try and find him, because that was a scary moment, really. You know, we need to pick our moment carefully to go round this spot. Right, we found him. He's there. So whether it's a bit of problem with his radio or something, I don't know. But apparently he's just here, and I don't know what we're doing. We'll find out in a minute.
We'd missed the tide to go around South Stack,
Right.
and with impending weather,
Are we going
we decided
for
to
a
find
mooring or
cover.
something here? I don't know. Well, we'll have to wait and see. That was an opportune moment for Norman to run out of petrol. We're pootling into the beach. It's now, suddenly this little cove is fully secluded. And look at it. There's no hassle here at all. So we're gonna just pop the boats up somewhere here. And we're gonna work out what's going on.
In your shoulder, and you dip the bucket so it fills up the water, and then you lean out and it lifts the bucket out of the water.
We beached the boats on a beautiful beach, which happened to also be the home of a lovely dinghy club.
So we've got to a place called Port Diana Beach, and it's like a dinghy club beach. It's beautiful here, look at it. But this is where our journey's going to end on this one, unfortunately. We came in here because we missed the slot to get through Holyhead, but it was fortunate that we did miss our slot, because we've spoke to quite a few guys here that have told us that the weather is really closing in. Tomorrow's going to be gusting 30. A guy here that's also resident here, so you know, knows the weather really well, also said that you know, you've got at best till midday tomorrow. High tide's about 6:30 here. So he said you can only go through South Stack on the ebb, even if you're against the ebb. And he says if one little thing doesn't quite marry out or work out to plan, then he said you could be in a whole world of pain. And you know, and so you know, we've had a chat. We've had another really kind gentleman, Chris, who's offered to drive us back to Dinowic to get the vans and trailers. And I think what we're going to do is come back here, spend the night here on the beach, and then we'll pull out at high tide tomorrow when we can get the boats into the ramp here. And this sand is quite firm, so we should get the cars or the vans on there, or we'll use the rope. So it's been a bit of a rough ride, this one, hasn't it? Lulu's definitely leaking, so I'm happy we're not doing that, because I'm worried that something might leak even more. We're gonna have to sort this out. My engine's broke, so the little tightener that tightens the engine up just broke. I don't know what's wrong with it, and so my engine won't stay in one position, which has been really hard work. And to be honest with you, there hasn't been enough wind today for me to get a good sail in. I've had to motor sail most of the day, so yeah, it's bittersweet, but I think Neptune's trying to tell me that it's not the week, is it? So we're gonna lick our wounds, have a nice evening, and we're gonna live to fight another day, I think. We're kind of getting the boats ready. The sailing club up here have been amazing and let us leave the trailers in there, and then we're parked on the road, so we've got the camper van here, so it's going to be a nice night in that. And I thought, because we've kind of had to cut the trip short, and this cove is so beautiful, I thought we'd go for a little paddle before the sea gets too cold. We'll have a little look around, because look at all this, there's some luggers over here as well. So let's go and have a look. So, welcome to Tadpole Camp. We're going to have a little look around here and see what boats we can find. So the one I'm going to go to first is this one dead ahead, and actually it looks like it's sinking. And this boat is owned by the guy who gave us a lift all the way back to Dinowic, and here it is. And it's actually, this boat was born in 1930, and it's not sinking. It's actually, I can't remember the word he used for it, but it's actually seasoning it. So during the winter the boat dries out, and what happens is all the slats here sort of shrink a bit and they create gaps, and then what you have to do is in the summer is actually soak the boat like that, and it looks like it's sinking for about, he said about 48 hours, and then suddenly you can empty it and it'll float where everything's sort of tightened up again. Oh, there's a bit of a tide here, got to be careful. But there you go, so that's it, a Cyrus, and I forget what boat it is. But look at these boats here, there's a whole fleet. I think this is the only fleet of these boats here. They're beautiful, aren't they? Look at them, very luggery. Speaking of luggers, if we go around here, we might just see a couple. Where have they gone? Oh, there they go. So let's go and see this one. Yeah, this is a lugger. Goshawk, TBSC. There you go. Just like Lulu. Looks roughly, well, yeah, it does look about the same year. All the sails. I'm always interested in how people tie their sails up and how they loosen, how they put the mainsail down. Actually, let's go and have a closer look. Interesting. Doesn't look like it's got a reefing point, does it? But look at there's a block there that the gaff halyard goes through. Wonder if there's one the other side, and that's how he raises his gaff. It's really interesting, and the gaff's just down here. The sails are just tied up, aren't they? Look. That's really interesting. It's interesting to see these boats that are just left here with the sails up. This one's a little bit worse for wear. It's got no cleats on it at all. Maybe it's in the process of being done up. What's interesting to me is the backs here, look. The door is very, very different. I wonder if it's almost watertight. I don't know. I don't like the door on the lugger. It's a bit, the transom. I think I'd like to glass that in. Let's go and have a look at the boat number is on the front normally, on here. So let's have a look, see if we can find anything on there. Let's try not to puncture the boat on here. Oh, there you go. 1218. So I think Lulu's 1273. So that must be, it's a bit earlier, but it's quite close. Mark II. Let's go and have a look at some more. Load of ribs down here. As much fun as they are, I'm not a massive fan of the rib. More of these beautiful boats. Look at that one, Arcadia, that's the nice one. Now, look at these boats, these sort of right ahead, look, double-ended canoe style boats. I think when I was on holiday a year or so, just for a little brief week, 5-day holiday on Anglesey, I think these were the boats we saw sailing past us in Beaumaris, and they were just beautifully, gracefully under spinnaker, and they were all sailing as a group down the Menai strait. Obviously, I wonder if they were coming here, because this is, unless they're not quite the same boat. But look at those, look how beautiful that is. The cockpit is tiny, isn't it? Look, the cockpit's right in the centre of the boat. I'm not going to go any further because I don't want to get caught out by the tide, because we have got a still ebbing, I think, out of here. Yeah, you can tell. Just been getting all the boats out. There's Lulu over there already. Sorry I didn't film that because I was up really early to get a few things sorted on the trailer. So I unscrewed a few things and re-screwed and bolted a few things up, and today she went on the trailer absolutely plumb centre, and I only had Joe just kind of holding the back. So that's really good news. So I'm now reversing to get the other boats. So when I first got Lulu, we came down here, all the way down, and she came down quite fine. And as you can see, we had a bit of a skidding session, and she wouldn't pull the boat out. The sand's quite firm, but not as firm as it probably could be. So fortunately, we unhooked the boat, and Lulu managed to get herself out, and then we used Norman's rope. So I've got a rope like this, so I don't think it's strong enough for my boat, but I need to get one because they've proved pretty essential hauling boats out on these trips, on these slipways. This slipway happens to be pretty damn good, but a lot of slipways are slippy, or they're shingle or sand at the bottom, and it's a good job we got the rope, to be honest with you. Otherwise I'd be scuppered right now. It's a bit choppy, and it's not going to be a nice day later still, so we've made the right decision to go. Me and Mark just had a swim, and it was pretty cold actually, but it was lovely. I feel really refreshed. We're going to pop off now, take the boats, we're going to pop off, have some breakfast somewhere, and go back home.
We were, of course, sad that the journey had been cut short. But we knew we'd made the right decision. But with a sinking boat and an engine that wouldn't run straight, it was the right thing to do. And although we hadn't fulfilled our goal this time, I'd still taken Lulu on her longest ever trip on the sea. And although we'd had some scary moments, all they've done is made me hungrier for the next trip. And I know it's not going to be her last.